Attention Eagles Nation. The moment many have been waiting for has finally arrived. The NFL has locked in a matchup that carries historical weight, recent rivalry, built-up tension, and an emotional charge that few games can match. Philadelphia Eagles versus San Francisco 49ers. This is not just another wildcard game. It is a collision of forces, styles, mindsets, and destinies. Two NFC giants placed face-to-face not by accident, but because the road to the top has never been built on shortcuts. The playoffs are here, and with them comes the raw, undeniable truth of the league. There is no margin for error. There is no tomorrow. There is no plan B. You either win or you go home. And when the opponent on the other side is the San Francisco 49ers, any illusion of comfort disappears immediately. This is the kind of matchup that separates good teams from teams that are truly ready to be champions. The scenario unfolded in an almost provocative way. The Eagles finished the regular season as the number 3 seed after a loss to the Commanders, a game that sparked debate, criticism, and endless speculation. On the other side, the 49ers, after stumbling against the Seahawks and watching the Rams defeat the Cardinals, fell to the number 6 seed. The result was inevitable. Fate brought these two heavyweights together in the very first round of the playoffs. And of course, as always happens in Philadelphia, the noise started immediately. Analysts, rival fans, armchair commentators, and critics of convenience began questioning everything. They questioned the loss in the final week. They questioned the decision to rest starters. They questioned the path to the Super Bowl. They questioned whether the Eagles had chosen a harder road than necessary. But there is something many insist on ignoring. Inside the locker room, the conversation is completely different. While the outside world debates seeds, brackets, and hypothetical scenarios, inside the team there is only one mindset: beat whoever is in front of you. That's it. And no one expressed that better than Brandon Graham. One of the most respected leaders on the roster, a player who has seen everything this league can offer, made it clear there is no fear, no regret, and no doubt. When asked about the matchup, his reaction was direct, almost casual. "Oh, it's them? Okay." There was no shock, no tension, just conviction. Graham went further. He reminded everyone of something that is conveniently forgotten at this time of year. If you want to be a champion, the path does not matter. It does not matter if you face the Packers, the Rams, the 49ers, or anyone else. At some point, you have to beat great teams. You do not win the Super Bowl by avoiding strong opponents. You win it by facing them head-on. And that is exactly what the Eagles are willing to do. The decision to rest starters at the end of the regular season became ammunition for outside criticism, but internally it was viewed as strategy. Playoffs demand physicality, they demand health, they demand a full roster. There is no point in arriving intact on paper and broken on the field. The Eagles understood that. They chose to make sure their key players would be ready for the war that actually matters. And now, with a healthier roster, the focus is entirely on San Francisco. That mindset was also clear in the words of DeVonta Smith, the wide receiver who reached the symbolic mark of 1,000 receiving yards this season, did not fall into the trap of talking about an ideal opponent. To him, that simply does not exist. It does not matter who is on the other side. What matters is executing their own game, playing Eagles football, imposing identity, rhythm, intensity, and confidence. Smith went straight to the point when he reminded everyone that playoff football is different. It is not a normal game. The intensity is higher. Every play carries more weight. Every mistake is more costly, because here, losing means it's over. There is no next week to fix things. There is no room for future adjustments. It's all or nothing. And that is exactly why everyone steps on the field with something extra. More focus, more urgency, more hunger. While many argue about whether this is the hardest possible path, the Eagles seem comfortable exactly where they are. There is an uncomfortable truth for those rooting against Philadelphia. This team is not looking for shortcuts. It is looking for legitimacy.
It does not just want to win, it wants to prove something. It wants to show it can overcome any obstacle placed in its way, and facing the 49ers right away is the perfect opportunity to do that. There is an external narrative trying to frame this matchup as punishment, as if facing San Francisco were a consequence of poor decisions. But inside the building, the perspective is different. This is a test, a challenge, a chance to send a clear message to the rest of the league. If the Eagles can get past the 49ers, there will be no more doubts about what this team is capable of in the playoffs. Now, preparation reaches another level. Every detail matters. Every tactical adjustment counts. Every practice is treated as decisive. The roster knows San Francisco is a physical, disciplined, aggressive team, an opponent that does not forgive mistakes. But it also knows Philadelphia has the talent, depth, and experience to respond at the same level. This is not a team that stumbled into the playoffs by accident. It earned its position over the course of an entire season. What stands out most is how irrelevant the discussion about an easy path seems to those who actually matter. Players don't step on the field thinking about who they might face next week. They think about the next snap, the next route, the next tackle, the next throw. Everything else is noise, external noise that belongs more on debate shows than inside the lines. The Eagles know they cannot control what happens in other games. They cannot control brackets, parallel results, and narratives. What they can control is preparation, execution, and mindset. And in that regard, the internal confidence is obvious. The group is united. The message is aligned. There are no public cracks, no preemptive excuses. The promise made throughout the season now begins to be tested. The promise that this team is ready to face anyone. The promise that health was prioritized for the moment that truly matters. The promise that if they want the title, they'll have to take it from teams that want it just as badly. And there is no better opponent to symbolize that than the San Francisco 49ers. This is not a game about seeding. It is not about rankings. It is not about who deserved to face who. It's about competitive character, about identity, about proving on the field that Philadelphia doesn't run from challenges. On the contrary, it embraces every single one. When the ball is kicked off, all the external talk will be left behind. There will be no analysts, no criticism, no history. There will only be two teams fighting to survive, 11 on 11, playoff football in its purest form. And the Eagles enter this battle with one clear certainty. If they want to reach the top, they'll have to go through giants, and they are ready for it. Now the question is yours. Will this fearless approach be rewarded? Will facing the 49ers in the wild card be the first step in a historic run? Or will this challenge demand a price too high to pay? The answer will come on the field. Until then, Eagles Nation must do its part. Support, believe, and understand that there is no easy path when the goal is to be champion. Comment, engage, and show your strength, because what is coming is not just a game, it's a statement of intent, and Philadelphia is ready for war.